Good day, loves. Welcome
Hey,
back to the Holistic Freedom Secrets podcast. This is episode 85. 85. That is amazing. We are on the road to 100.
yeah,
And that is super exciting to me
and 8
because,
and 5 make 13, and it's
yes,
spooky season.
13 in numerology is like adds up to a 4, which is a foundation. It's laying a proper foundation for your life. So 13 specifically, if you don't plan, then it's a plan to fail.
And it's
Failing to
like
plan is
the
a plan to
favorite
fail.
number of the occult.
Yes, one of the favorites.
It's the favorite. There's
Spooky
no
season.
13th floor in hotels and business offices. A lot of times, there is sometimes nowadays 13 steps of the pyramid on the back of the $1 bill, uh, 12 disciples and one Jesus, 12
Yes.
zodiacs and one sun.
Some say it's 14.
They don't count. It's the occult number 1385.
Why are you doing claw hands?
Yeah.
This is great. I feel like I want to hold up your book and but that your book is more serious, right? But okay. Well, we have something really cool to talk about, and we're also low-key recapping last night's event, which was awesome. When soul comes back into the space. Today is Shine Day, and what that means for us, loves, is that on Shine Day, we are focusing on sharing honest and insightful, nourishing expressions. Okay, so that basically means no strings attached, sharing of our hearts. This is the gifts that we have. These are our passions with the community. These are just love and gratitude, appreciation with our loved ones, with our family and friends, as well. But specific to, when you were bringing up the occult, and occult really means hidden, right? So we were bringing up the hidden uh, aspects of the numbers, right? That's not what this book is about, but this book is about truth telling and exposing a lot of the lies that we are fed as a society that help control our culture. Culture control. Yeah, ring.
Uh,
Say something about your book.
so, what culture control is about is it's a stepping stone to awakening twice.
Huh.
So, for most people I know are like liberal minded, um, people that they feel like they don't really believe the narrative that's given to them, and they think for themselves, but in truth they believe the narrative that's given to them behind the narrative that's on the surface. So there's probably 5 or 6 layers of narrative that's just fed to us that are completely false.
On all sides.
On most sides.
Most sides.
They're half truths, and so the trick is to put so much information out there and to put so much misdirection out there that everybody who thinks they're correct doesn't have the full picture. And so if the media wants to discredit you, they'll take the piece of the full picture that you don't know, give you the truth about that piece, and then say, see, they didn't know anything. Don't believe anything that they say. This book here is a culmination of researched topics and conclusions and
A lot of the
ways to reevaluate how you think, as well as some things that are just told to you in what to think form, but not in a way that you're forced to believe the book, just in a way that says, this is what I've come to know is true about this topic. You can research it on your own and see if you come up with the same conclusions. Here are my sources, right? And so it's a way to wake up twice. First, to the fact that everything that you were told is a lie. It's either a lie or a half truth, and every half truth is a whole lie. And
Yeah.
second awakening is to who you are and what your value is as a being, right, as a human
juicy.
being. So those two awakenings is what you'll get from this book, as well as a lot of smaller awakenings and things of that nature.
And I just want to read a couple quotes just from the back of the book because they really stood out to me. The first one I'd like to read is the truth is one who seeks to achieve freedom by petitioning those in power to give it to them has already failed, regardless of the response. To beg for the blessing of authority is to accept that the choice is the master's alone to make, which means that the person is already by definition a slave. Wow, that was by Larkin Rose. And that just really, it reframes a lot of how I see us fighting for freedom, and how I process it whenever I see people with picket signs or
I'm gonna
another
fight
vigil,
for freedom
another
by
march.
I'm gonna fight for freedom by electing my favorite person to enslave me in the way that I want to be enslaved.
Yeah, I would much prefer to be enslaved in these sets of ways.
In these ways, I want to be enslaved with
Upfront.
gold handcuffs. I want to be enslaved with silverware.
So it's like a wake up call, because when we are turning to the same quote unquote authorities, whether it's the agencies, whether it's the licensing authorities, or whoever it is, whoever is saying that they have power and you do not. If we're trying to beg them to change, one, they're already in too deep. They already built this system so that it works in their favor. Okay. The likelihood of that happening in a way that is true and lasting is slim to none. Okay. So it's really up to us to shape our own lives. We can't live by default anymore. It's literally not ever going to work. It's like we've tried it. We've tried working the full-time job and just la da da da. I'm just gonna work hard and we're gonna save up and we're gonna do this thing. And you've already tried that route. You've tried, I'm gonna fix the system from the inside. I'm gonna be the one that helps shine the light on all of the.
Which, shout out to you if
darkness.
you're trying to do that. Obviously, right?
And it's exhausting. And it's draining and it's hard to keep up the momentum. And shout out to you, absolutely.
Yeah, if you're trying to do that, shout out to you. It's not a diss to you, but you're not going to win.
Yeah. And so eventually we just gotta build our own way. We gotta design our own life. How we
So another quote from the back of the book is, lack of money is no obstacle. Lack of an idea is an obstacle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that's by Ken Hakuta. And it's super duper powerful. Lack of money is no obstacle. Lack of an idea is an obstacle. Why is that? Because the value of, let's say, building a house, okay, is not the amount of money that is put into transactions for the tools and the labor of building the house. It's having the house in place once it's built.
It's the fruits of the labor.
The money for a day's work is not the motivation, nor is it the value of building a house, of building a road, of building a water filtration system, of building a community of idea makers, and coming up with cool trainings for how people can discern information, and like building things that are not necessarily like buildings and roads. Um, uh, Building a system for childcare and child rearing that's community based.
Mm.
Building a system to help families child rear family based, whatever it
Nice.
is, right? Whatever
That's
it is,
online.
the value and the motivation and the inspiration and the incentive, all of it is in the real life of the creation itself, and not in the illusion of life given to the transactions made for a day's work.
And if you've ever volunteered for a local or organization in your community, and it's been like volunteer powered, you know for a fact that you don't money was not involved in getting a lot of the things done. At least from it was your heart that inspired you to act and to collaborate.
Sadhguru of India had 100% volunteer based nonprofit for planting trees, and they planted and re-greenified like 800 million trees or something crazy, like super duper. I said a very high number on purpose, like a super crazy gajillion zillion trees. You should look it up. I don't know the number of trees off the top of my head, but it's very high. I think it's over 1 million.
Oh wow,
So it's
nice.
you know, 100% volunteer, and volunteer work is hardly ever shabby unless it's like students or whatever, and it's completely inexperienced people that are running the operation. Most of the time, volunteer work is just as good, if not better than paid work, especially city and state. They suck. So, uh, uh, lack of an idea is the obstacle. Lack of a thing to do that is useful and towards progress, as well as lack of something to do that you can put your passion in and show up to every day. That is an obstacle to human progress. Lack of money, lack of transactions is not an obstacle. In fact, it's an illusory obstacle that only takes waking up to loosen the grip of.
Very true. Very true. So a lot of the things that we feel like are holding us back with, okay, so I'm a working mom. I gotta, we gotta make money for our family, and I don't have enough time. After I get home, I'll be tired. Before I go to work, I'll be tired. So how am I supposed to shine my light? I can't even fathom right now fitting in an extra hour in my day. Like, what does that even? What could that look like? I'm already in. This is probably your narrative because it used to be mine. Um, you're already your schedule's already filled up. You're volunteering. You have these other side projects going on. You are you know managing a household. You're looking to lift other people up with you, but you're also kind of drowning in all of the things, and health wise trying to overcome some sort of autoimmune condition, whether it was for me it was eczema and allergies, and whatever it is for you, whether it's cancer or whatever. You can just throw out the whatever fibroids. I mean, goodness, they're everywhere. So yeah, how do we let the passion lead? How do we take the next step?
Well, you
could
have
that
to
look like?
develop passion. So, great question, and I'm glad you asked it. One of the great things about being human is the ability to develop passion. Okay, you never show up to something your first day and have super duper passion for it. You may have super duper inspiration, but passion is something that you develop over time by getting really good at something, building your understanding about it on a super duper intricate, minute detail level. Um, seeing and experiencing the impact that it has on yourself as well as others most times, as well as the environment most times, seeing its impact right firsthand, participating in its impact firsthand. These are things that happen that build and develop and maintain and sustain something that we call passion in the
Right.
human family.
Like, that's real.
And um, in order for you to develop passion, you have to stay at something through time,
Mm.
right? There's time and effort in one direction that builds passion. And as a human family, especially as a human family living in this day and age, if you know anything about anything, you know that there are passion projects that have yet to be taken seriously by enough people,
Mm.
right? One of which is our freedom from
Mm.
the grip of ignorance.
Ignorance. Let's unpack that a little bit.
You guys remember The Matrix? The movie The Matrix, the first one? There's a character in The Matrix, and his name is Cypher. And Cypher wishes that he took the blue pill, which means he wishes that when he was given the choice, he stayed
Sleep.
unaware and asleep in in his little
Illusion.
pod in his illusory world, right? And so in the Matrix movie, he's the I guess the secondary villain, right? The first villain being like the agents and the machine world who are at war with humans. But he is like a secondary villain because what he chooses to do is come up with this plot to, in exchange for giving the machines a captain of a ship, the captain of his ship being Morpheus, which in the mind of every captain is the codes to the last human city's mainframe, the safety mechanism for that keeps Zion safe.
Like safety and security codes.
Yeah, safety and security codes, like the nuclear codes, whatever it is, right?
Mm.
And so that's inside the mind of all of the captains of the ships. And so Cypher develops this plan. He's like, hey, Agent Smith, I want you to reinsert me into the Matrix. I don't want to remember anything. I want to wake up and be a somebody of importance, like an actor, he says, in the Matrix. And I don't want to remember anything, and I'll give you Morpheus if you can do this for me. And why is that? And he explains it actually right before he gives his proposal, and says he's holding a piece of steak. He's jacked into the Matrix, and he's holding a piece of steak, talking to Agent Smith, and he's saying, I know this steak isn't real. When I put it in my mouth, the Matrix is telling me that it is juicy and delicious.
However you
And
say
you know what I think about that? And he says, ignorance is bliss. And so ignorance is the choice to remain unaware and to avoid taking action for your freedom in regard to something that's important and influencing your life.
Like, does that make sense? The ignorance is, you've made now the decision. You have been made aware that this other possibility exists to a point that you could process, you could understand that if you looked and chose to explore that. But the choice has been made to say,
I don't want to look.
I'm not going to look.
I'm not going to look. Yeah, even better. I'm not going to look.
I'm not going to look. And I have been there very recently, in recent years. And it's like different aspects of life get put in your face. And then someone in your life comes around and is like, look. And it's like,
Oh, I don't think Facebook saw. Do it again.
oh, look. and that choice decision point comes up. It's like, am I gonna look? Am I gonna look? What does looking mean? Oh my gosh, looking is so scary. Looking is so scary. Like everything might change if I look. And the real question is, are you willing to see your kids be in the same bondage as you and
Right.
die early from liver disease because of your unwillingness to look,
Or be
or
enslaved by these systems
because of your
perpetually
unwillingness
because of
to
your
look?
unwillingness to look.
I wasn't willing to stay there.
They lied to your great grandparents,
It
who
runs
in
deep.
turn lied to your grandparents,
Yes.
who in turn lied to your parents, who in turn lied to you.
Yes.
And you have an opportunity not to lie to your kids or
Mm.
your nephews and nieces and students. You have the opportunity to tell the truth to the next generation yourself. But
This is so
but
much bigger than
in
us.
understanding that your parents, meaning the government, your teachers, your actual parents, your peer group, that's what your parents lied to you. It means your upbringing lied to you, okay? Metaphorically speaking. So you can contribute to an environment, okay? Be a piece of the environment that does not lie to the next generation. And that would take developing a passion for truth seeking, which in turn would develop a passion over time for truth telling. If you
Yeah.
don't if you don't first truth seek, if you don't do it in the steps of the trivium, which in most simple terms is gathering the information, processing said information, and then applying that information before you're able to teach it. Um, and if you don't first develop passion, meaning develop methods and your favorite way to, and your kind of like what really calls to your spirit, what feels most natural,
What's in your
gathering
zone?
information about these systems, about your health, about what it means to be holistically healthy, including spiritual and emotional health, all of this, right? Gathering the information, gathering the information about who's lying, that is controlling information,
Mm.
right? Which
That
and
part.
how many systemic controlling systemic entities, or how to say, entities at the top of the food chain that can control the information that's widely available to us, how many of them have been caught lying again and again and again,
That
right?
part.
Developing a passion for discerning what's true, seeking truth, and gathering that information and processing it properly. Then applying that information in your own life, getting rid of certain products, getting rid of certain habits, and getting started with other habits, right? And then teaching.
So the three steps of the trivia: one, gathering the info; two, processing, understanding it; and three is applying it. So giving it out, sharing it.
So you have input, processing, output.
Yeah.
Right? Which in the old days is called grammar and rhetoric.
Whew. Wow. Um. This this is this is really so important, y'all. And you know it's important because you're watching this and you've been on this truth seeking journey for years. And you know when things just don't feel right. And you can discern. You have enough discernment to know that. And so we can't stay stuck. That's all. That's the last thing I'm gonna say on the book. Is there anything else you want to say on the book before we move on to the hip hop?
The ebook is now available, so you can get the ebook if you're more of an ebook person.
Mhm.
You can get the ebook and have the PDF read to you, so you don't have to flip through the pages with your physical hands.
Or you can do both.
And if you're more of like a Kindle person,
Mhm.
you're going to be on the plane for a couple hours and you like to pull out your Kindle and read the book. So you can get the ebook from the link in our about and bio and whatnot.
Yes.
from our link tree, the Ufulu Child link tree. Go to Google, you type in Ufulu Child, and our link tree will come up most likely. And then also uh, on our bio and Instagram and about page on Facebook, you just click the link.
So we had a late night, and it was super fun at the Hyde Park Theater.
Hyde Park Theater.
Hyde Park Theater for the Hip Hop
Theater
Theater
Explosion.
This is all different aspects of the hip hop culture. So this is a show put on by Zell Miller III. He's phenomenal. He's a playwright. He's creative. He's passionate about hip hop, and he's a skilled lyricist as well, and poet, and all of the things. And he curated brought together a group of really talented artists, different angles of hip hop. There's dance, there's poetry, there's rap, there's singing, there's DJing, and they also showed some graffiti and things like that. And it just was so good. There's 5 nights only, and so last night was the first night, and I was in the audience live streaming. If y'all peeked a little bit last night, saw some of the little moments from the show, check it out, because every night's going to be different.
From me.
Yes.
And Queen
Dilla and some other artists are considering changing up their sets and maybe incorporating some new things, which is awesome, because the newness, the exhibit, the showing of your passion is what this is all about. Really letting that inner light shine and embodying more of what is in your vision of freedom. This is our Freedom Secret Decree, where we kind of touch on that in how we do things. But it was just so great to see. It was great to see. What are your thoughts about last night?
Yeah, well, just my thoughts are to, come through, support the show if you're in Austin, Texas, or near it, like Round Rock or Pflugerville or Manor. Come through. It's Hyde Park Theater. Tickets at hydeparktheater.org or just at the door. Come through. We did have a nice little theater audience, but there were also some seats available. But it was definitely not an empty house or like a house just filled with the artists. There were real audience members there. So hopefully they bring their friends and family as well. But come through. Doors open at 7:30. Yeah.
This is like, it's not just hip hop, right? Because hip hop today is like, ugh. It's kind of ugh.
Yeah, there's 2 rules with this. You can't be rapping about like violence, and you can't be degrading towards women and race.
Yes.
So it's very I wouldn't say like a holistically healthy approach to hip hop, but it's definitely more healthy than the trash that's on the radio that is pretty much all about violence and or the degradation of women and Black people and white people and this people and that people or whatever.
I was listening to a lot of the lyrics, and there's overall pretty empowering stuff. And
yeah. Shout out to Dashade, man. Dashade is really good.
Yes, really with his working class music.
I got a full-time job, and I'm putting clothes on my kids' back and food on their table.
But in a song.
But I'm hard,
Yeah. But for real, it's so
I go hard, man.
It's so cool. So it is a lot of cursing. So if you like, okay, my babies can't be around them curse words, I understand. However, if them being next to you and they can be around them curse words, bring them out if they're not gonna be loud, because it's not that kind of show. They know.
They can't get up on stage.
Yeah, they can't get up on stage. And it, they got to be kind of quiet. So yeah, but I was out there as well with free samples of the body butter. We had a way for you to get a book while you were there as well. This link. One, and also we have another book, our 117 effective yoga tips, the ultimate checklist.
Yeah, it's a checklist workbook.
Yeah, tips, effective tips to help you round out a wellness practice and just explore, get into that explorative mode of testing out different things one day at a time, that how they feel in your body, in your routine, and really finding a route to wellness that works for you is what that book's all about. So it's a fillable workbook and it's fun to do. Yes. So anything else?
We will see you guys there. And we'll see you also on Monday for B Day. This again is a 5-show series. So tonight and tomorrow are 2 more shows. And then next week we have
Friday and Saturday.
Friday and Saturday. And next Friday, I got a show for, I'm doing greatness. You could say like my best material all throughout these 5 songs. But Friday is my favorite set. Next Friday, not tonight. And boy, whew, it's gonna be a show. You gotta see it. You gotta see it to believe it.
Oh my gosh, I'm so hyped. I'm so hyped. Very hyped. Very hyped. So looking forward to that. Yes, you can get your tickets ahead of time. You can get them at the door. Just be there, okay? And we can't wait to see you there. I'd love to give you a hug, and he would love to dap you up. We'll see you then. Take good care, loves. Peace.